Giant squids in wood? What's going on around the shop? Hey everybody, I'm Kevin and welcome back to the KevBot Workshop. Today we're going to talk about what's been going on around the shop in the past month or so. So in June and July I've been working on a couple of different projects, but I'm going to get to those in a second. What I do want to talk about is what I did during the winter. A lot of things don't happen during the winter just because I don't have an insulated garage. I don't have heating and air conditioning in the garage. So my shop is pretty much out of commission during the winter, but during that time I got to work on a project for a public art contest. This is something called Benches on the Avenue that was hosted by a town near me. I've done this project before, and in this project they had a theme. The theme this year was prize novels, and so I went with 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. You could see here in the bench here I depicted the Nautilus, Captain Nemo's the Nautilus, being attacked by the giant squid and making its escape. It was a really fun project for me to do. It was great. I was able to carve and do a lot of different things. I used an angle grinder for the first time ever, and this was a really cool tool. I was able to take this 1/2 inch plywood and stack it up to make it real thick, and then I was able to carve it down into something that I was looking for to create this depiction. This was a great project. I have entered this contest before. The first time I had entered it, I had made a video on it. I don't have it here up on my YouTube. It doesn't quite fit with my branding and the way I want to do it. And if everybody wanted to see it, I guess I could cut something together and put it back up for you. Working on this bench is great. I love that I'm able to get back into this whole artistic realm. A little bit of backstory about myself is that I went to school for art. I have a degree in studio art and graphic design. And so I'm able to actually dive right back into that when I can use my art and my woodworking together so that I can create something that's just really fun and enjoyable. I didn't make a video on this, and it was just really just a great time for me to just hunker down and do something I really love and enjoy, and not be bogged down with moving a camera around or anything like that. So what I've been working on in the past month or so has been 2 different projects. One is just about complete, while the other is on its way, and I'd say maybe 75% of the way done. First project would be I made a bunch of coasters. So we have a couple different things. I worked with a lot of different mixed media stuff. I should have a video up with this within the next week or so. Cross my fingers. I still have to put some finish on some stuff and finish them up, wrap them up, get some beauty shots and all that kind of stuff. So it is going to take me a little bit of time. I also have to edit that video. So I'm hoping to get that up within the next week to 2 weeks here to give you guys a little bit of content on that. Also, I am working on my bed here. So I talked about that in the first Around the Shop series where I had all the lumber for all that, but this is going swimmingly. I today was working on the tenons for all the joinery and looking to get the headboard and footboard put together over the next couple days. I don't believe I'll have enough time to work on that until the weekend, but I don't have any specific plans on what I'm going to be doing after the bed. I do have a couple of things floating around in my head, and we're going to see if they come together. So that's also what I'm going to be working on in the next couple of weeks, is creating plans and all that kind of stuff on the computer so that I can just dive right into the next project. So right now I want to switch over and talk about my previous projects and kind of review them, see the pros and cons and things I've done in the past. Today I'm going to talk about 3 projects. That way I can knock out all the old ones so that the future episodes can be about the projects that I just finished up. Today we're going to be talking about my wrist box, my bar stools, and my notebooks that I made. First on the list, I have my wrist box. I don't have it out here. It's tucked away in the house, and I just didn't feel like pulling it out. I really like this thing. It's great. It's able to fit everything I need within one box. Before, they were just kind of floating around in a cardboard box that was like falling apart. Pieces were all over the place. Now it's really compact. I can keep everything inside. I know where everything belongs. That would be the pro of the box. The con of the box is that it's heavy. I had stated in the video that the wrist box, I wanted to use 1/4 inch plywood, but they did not have 1/4 inch hickory plywood, so I had to pick up 3/4 inch. I think I might attach some handles on the side so that it's easier to pick up. Right now I'm just kind of picking it up from the bottom and That's kind of weird because it is a larger box, and that is due to the larger game boards I have. Maybe I should have laminated some hickory thinner plywood together, maybe 1/8 or 1/4 boards together to get that 1/2-inch plywood that I was looking for, but really it's going to stay in a closet for most of the time. Whenever I have to pull it out to play, it's not that big of a deal that I have to lift something heavier. So I might put on those handles just to make it a little easier on myself. One other thing about the box is not really a con, it's really just something that I need to modify with the hinges on the box, just because it is heavier, the lid is a little heavier. The screws for the hinges are coming a little loose and they're not able to grasp. So I think I'm just gonna have to find some bigger screws to make it stronger, and that way it can hold the box and the lid together. And other than that, it's working fine, it's working great. The box opens the way I want it to, and all the pieces are in line. Moving on to project number 2, are my bar stools here. So I have both the stools in here, the other one's right over there. But these guys are great. You might have seen them in the back of some of my videos. They're awesome. They do everything I want them to do. They're really sturdy. I've stepped on these a lot, these supports here, because I'm looking to stand on top of it. They were a little challenging for me. I didn't have a lot of stuff to work with. I didn't have a table saw and stuff like that. If you saw in the video, I did get my table saw near the end of this project, and I had to borrow a friend's table saw, but sawing it by hand was really tough, but it was really satisfying, and I was able to do these through mortise and tenons that I was super excited to do. They're not as clean as I wanted them to be. Wasn't as good as I am now. I wouldn't say I'm the best with my mortise and tenons, but they have come a long way, and I mean, this really comes together. They're really sturdy, really strong. Couple of cons is that the top cracked a little more. I showed the dovetails that I had put on the bottom and one on the top of these. Cracked a little more. The wood just probably had too much moisture in it, and had not settled all the way. So when I cut it apart and really exposed the centers, that it just had enough moisture to let it split. And so nothing's happening. The dovetails are doing the job, so it's not making anything bigger or anything like that. Actually, one crack went all the way up to the dovetail and then it stops there. So it's doing its job, but other than that, these guys are doing solid. I keep them around the shop. The only problem is that I'll want to sit down more than I want to actually work, so I sometimes have to tuck them away just so I can get back to work. And the last project to talk about here are my notebooks. I don't have the other ones with me. I should have had the small one here in the shop. I mainly use the Purple Heart and the Padauk notebooks. Those are my favorites for a couple of reasons. The Padauk ones, I made 2 of them. I use them. I have one out here in the shop and I have one at my office at work. I keep notes in those. I'm just scribbling like important information down. I don't draw or anything in those. That's just to kind of list things out. I've used those so much that I've actually used all the sheets of paper in them, so I have to actually get more paper and refill those. So just those are really handy to have around. And then the second I would use is this guy. I use this guy just because I like the size of it. It's a solid size. But I like this. It's super sturdy. One of my favorite things about this is that it gives you a writing surface to write on. A lot of times you'll get a notebook and they'll be kind of flimsy as you're writing down in that. But this, if I fold this back and I'm looking to write on, I can hold it up here and easily write and nothing's flexing. It's wonderful. I'm glad that I made these. These are one of my favorite projects I worked on. The walnut one, I actually don't use that much because that one is a special type of paper. It is specifically for sketching or watercolors or something like that. It's some mixed media type thing, and I just don't use that one just because it's a little special paper. I'll probably use that whenever I want to get back and just draw a lot more rather than just doing doodles. But other than that, these have been really great. I don't really have any cons on these. The only thing is that I throw them in bags and stuff like that and they get a little scratched up, but that's just me being careless with them. They hold together. They're really great. I like the thickness on them, and I just love these things. These things are great. So that's all I have to talk about here today. I'm looking to get you guys a coaster video sometime within the next week or two. And then a couple weeks from there, I'll get you a bed build as well. I'm super excited for that. I can't wait to show those off. If you're not following me on Instagram at KevBot Workshop, make sure you do that, because I show pictures of the projects I'm working on right before I release them, so you can get a little bit of sneak peek of what is to come. If you have a topic or a question you would like me to talk about in a later episode of Around the Shop, please leave that in the comment section down below. I'd like to have this back and forth between you guys and I, so that we can have this kind of conversation throughout the shop. If you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so you can get a notification when a new video comes out. That's all for now, and I'll see you next time in the KevBot Workshop.